What's up, my good people of the internet? Happy to be here with you, hanging out where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and we appreciate your patience this morning. And thank you for being here with us this morning as well. So thank you so much for being a part of the show. We got a lot of great stuff coming up for you on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in hour number one inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. We'll be starting things off as we always do on a Monday with Mr. Murph, DT and Murphy coming to you on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, as Murph and I will be speaking on the NFL playoffs. And we will also be getting into the golf world as amateur Nick Dunlap won the American Express. He's 20 years old, and he is a sophomore at Alabama. He is the first amateur to win a PGA Tour event in a very long time, and Murph is going to be bringing us through just how cool this history is for Nick Dunlap and just what this could mean as he steps forward. And we will also get into a story that bonds two brothers forever through all space and time, brings two guys together that's truly, one of them I know very well. I didn't have the opportunity to get to know his brother, but through him I've gotten to know his brother, and there's something beautiful about this story. I can't wait to share it with you. And I told you that sports cards link us together. Sports cards have this amazing way of just really creating these special memories and these bonds that can withstand anything. And through GG Cards and Breaks this morning, I'm going to be sharing a story of Jeff and Andy Cook, and I cannot wait to share that with you here this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And I want to thank Jeff for giving me the opportunity to share this story. So that's going to be coming to you in hour number one with Murph and I. And then in hour number two, I'll be welcoming one of the greatest ones to wear orange in recent history, Mr. Tyus Battle. Will be joining the show, Syracuse Orange Basketball alum. We'll be talking about his history as well as his pro career, Adrian Autry, Jim Boeheim, and his return to Syracuse with perfect timing to get to see a really phenomenal game that Syracuse just had this past weekend against Miami with a buzzer beater. So a lot of great stuff coming up here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We thank you for being with us up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the world on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, on wakeupcalldt.com, or wakeupcalldt.podbean.com, I should say, and on youtube.com and facebook.com, as I said before, /wakeupcalldt for both of those. So thank you so much for tuning into the show. We appreciate you tremendously. And here we go with Mr. Murph. Murph, how are we doing this morning?
Doing well. It was a pretty exciting day in both the NFL and on the PGA Tour yesterday. Obviously, we'll get into that, but what a day for sports, just in general.
Yeah, it was an amazing day. Amazing day. A lot of great stuff happening. Really honestly, a great weekend of sports. It started off on Friday with Finn's Frenzy having a doubleheader. The men's and women's teams at Lemoyne College for basketball hosting NEC game events in their first season in the NEC first season as Division I programs. The women's team under Mary Grimes won on Friday night, improved to 4-0, and the only undefeated team inside of the NEC. And they also, getting that victory, have had secured themselves in first place as they continue to move forward to stay in first place, the only undefeated team in the NEC. And then on Saturday, we see a buzzer beater with Syracuse up against Miami with a three from Quadir Copeland, a.k.a. Q, hits that three. Syracuse defeats Miami. The Dome goes crazy. Feels like the old Dome. Then we have, two games that go on in the NFL playoffs. We see teams that advance in that respect. We see the Ravens and the 49ers, the number one seeds respectively, advance to the AFC and NFC championship games. AFC for the Ravens, NFC for the 49ers. And then on Sunday, we see the men's team win by almost 40 points at Lemoyne College in their Finn's Frenzy event in the NEC. Now they have a winning record in the NEC at 3-2, and they just came off defeating the number one team in the NEC, CCSU, on the road, handing them their first loss of their NEC season. So huge wins for Lemoyne, huge for Syracuse, big time playoff football in the NFL. And of course, seeing the Lions get a victory, get one step closer, a heartbreaker for the Buffalo Bills, and Nick Dunlap do his thing after that. So it was a very eventful Friday, Saturday, and Sunday all over the sports world. And the first thing we're going to get into is the NFL playoffs, and I'm going to defer to you here to Saturday. The Ravens take care of business. They handle the Texans easily. The 49ers had some trouble with the Packers. The Packers, a team that was 9-8, gets into the playoffs in Jordan Love's first season as quarterback of this team after having two quarterbacks named Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers be the quarterback of the Packers together for 3 decades time around that area. So for 3 decades, you got two names. Then you get Jordan Love in his first season, aids the team into the playoffs with his teammates. They get a victory over Dallas. Dallas had not lost at home. They blew Dallas out. And then they go into this game. They go to San Francisco. And the team that had knocked Dallas out the last 2 years had a lot of trouble with the Green Bay Packers. And if not for a pass that Jordan Love threw across his body to the middle of the field, could have been some more life for Green Bay. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'll start with the easy one, the Ravens and the Texans. That game was
Yeah.
basically David versus Goliath. Only problem is Goliath dominated as we expected.
Yeah.
You can't really get on the Texans though. They are very much ahead of schedule. Heck of a season for them when CJ Stroud's first year. Very impressive what they were able to do this season. And if you're a Texans fan, you can only be excited about this team's future. So I wouldn't. Yeah, you can be disappointed that they're out, but they lost to a very good Ravens team who I think you and I both agree very much can win the Super Bowl. So just looking at that from that perspective, it was a an expected outcome for that matter. So Lamar had himself another great game, 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns, 100 rushing yards, and I think it said 100 passing yards too. I believe the stat was he is the only quarterback in NFL history to ever do that. So which is pretty darn impressive. As for Packers Niners, not gonna lie, I didn't see a whole heck of a lot of that game. I haven't exactly been staying up for these late games.
Yeah.
Just because I've got things to do in the mornings on the weekend. Well, I taught some skiing yesterday, so I had to be up at 6:30 to go teach skiing. But kind of Jordan Love kind of just was there. Didn't obviously not watch. I've seen highlights afterwards, so just watching the highlights and just looking at the box score, it wasn't exactly a great game for Jordan Love. I mean, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That never helps. Obviously, looking at the way it was done, one of the interceptions came near the end of the game. That was, that's typically going to happen. That second interception on things like that, you don't typically get on the quarterback quite as much. But ultimately, he had a costly one. He had another costly one late in the game, and it's Jordan Love, definitely a player that can be successful in the NFL,
Yeah.
but at the same time, not the greatest performance against the San Francisco 49ers, who, as we know, have had one of the best defenses in the NFL over the last year plus, actually, if we're being correct here. So, people will talk about how Brock Purdy single-handedly won this game. Well, he didn't. He played just okay. Brock Purdy, though, as we know, Mr. Irrelevant from the draft, it's starting to feel like he is gaining traction on the nickname, not Mr. Irrelevant, Mr. Relevant.
Yeah.
And, if he goes on and wins a Super Bowl this year, that would be awfully impressive for a Mr. Irrelevant quarterback in just 2 years as the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. But again, outcomes I expected. I am not at all surprised that those two number one seeds won those games. especially with the logo theory of the Super Bowl logo. So those two teams technically had to be alive to make that still a thing. So the number one seeds in the AFC and NFC are moving on.
Yeah, and one got challenged, right, in the San Francisco 49ers. The Ravens, really no challenge. I said that they were the most dangerous team coming into the postseason, and now as we get closer and closer, tighter and tighter into this scenario, we see the games in the second day. The Lions came out and did the things that they needed to do, but the Lions also put themselves in a pressure cooker and in a situation where it was going back and forth and it was tied at halftime. And with that tie at halftime, you think to yourself, I know Lions fans started to think, my buddy Johnny was, I'm sure, sitting there thinking to himself, okay, what are we doing now? How can we screw this up? What's going to happen here? They hadn't won a playoff game in 31 years. I was 7 years old the last time that it happened. So, to look at that and to see Detroit and going up against this Bucks team, you have Baker Mayfield, who has resurrected his career. You have Jared Goff, who's resurrected his career. You have teams that have defenses that I think the Lions defense gets some credit. The Bucks defense hasn't always gotten that credit, especially when they helped Tom Brady win a Super Bowl. But, the Lions hold on. They do what they need to do. They do it at home. Motor City feels great. They have 2 home playoff games. Now they have to head on the road to San Francisco. A massive, massive victory for the city of Detroit, for Lions fans that have long been hurting and talk about Barry Sanders and talk about Megatron and, live in this world of remember when we could have, remember when we should have. And now they have this team going into the championship game. And then last night, we did a pregame show for the Chiefs at Bills. We did it at Pizza Man Pub on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville, New York. My co-host, Jeff Cook, we call him Cookie. And Cookie, the president of the Beeville Bills backers. And we know that the Beeville worlds, when you go out in central New York into Baldwinsville or just central and upstate New York in general, that Pizza Man Pub is very proud to be backers of the Buffalo Bills. So, and obviously they welcome all fans. There was Kansas City Chief fans there last night as well, but they are a Bills backers bar. Very proud to have Bills fans there. So Cookie and I did the pregame show and talked about a lot of different things in the NFL. And with the Buffalo Bills, I made my selection. I picked Buffalo to win this game. And then we all sat and watched the game together over some buffalo wings and a bunch of great food at Pizza Man. So we're sitting there, we're watching the game. And I said to Cookie, I said, the offense of this team, the offense of the world we live in with Kansas City this year is that if they score between 20 to the mid 20s, which they ended this game at 27, so still fit my theory, but when they're in this 20 to like 26 area, they've been able to win this. They've been able to rely on their defense and win games by not really having to score 30 points. They've scored low this season in a lot of scenarios. In this one, though, it was a trail of Buffalo mistakes down the stretch. A lot of time coming off the clock. They bring it to the 2-minute warning. But Pat Mahomes is sitting there watching. And, I don't want to believe in conspiracies, but he was smiling a little bit on the sideline a couple times. But, looking back at this game, we look at, the final drive and how they went on later on in the game. They came off the run. When they did run, they ran James Cook up the middle. They didn't run him to the outside. We never saw any pitches to the outside or those short passes to the outside for Cook and give him an opportunity to take off and run. Him and Josh Allen, that run that was working the whole first half, they kind of went away from that. The elongated handoff, not a handoff, whatever, the RPO. And so seeing them go away from things that were working, seeing them go away from James Cook, anything but up the middle, and seeing not enough of that back and forth between him and Josh Allen, that was questionable to me. Then a forced pass to Stephon Diggs and another forced pass to Stephon Diggs. And then when Diggs was open, coming from right to left across the middle, he didn't hit him on that pass, speaking of Josh Allen. And then he had two guys in the middle on 3rd and 9. He didn't go to either one of them. And before all of that happened on a 1st and 10, he threw a pass toward the end zone that was a step and a half in front of his receiver, and the ball stopped dead in the end zone when the receiver was open. So we look at these different things that happen where you go away from the run, you go away from trusting that, you try to force the Stephon Diggs when he's not open, and then you go ahead and don't throw the ball to him when he is open. You miss guys in the middle of the field when you're trying to throw it down the field on 3rd and 9, when those guys may have not gotten you a first down, but maybe they get you to 4th and 2. And then, of course, Tyler Bass misses the field goal wide right, and the game doesn't get tied, and they lose that way. So it was a heartbreaking end. I had to watch it with Cookie and Jimmy Delia, the owner at Pizza Man, just big-time Bills fans, so many Bills fans in the room, and it was just a heartbreaking way to see this team lose when there were so many great things, pound for pound, back and forth in the first half, and then later on down the stretch, it just seemed like they got away from some things. They were forcing other things. They didn't see certain things, and then they thought they saw other things. It's just a trail of tears that really ends this game. And whenever you need a kicker in a playoff game to tie the game, it seems like these moments that happen more often than not. But, in a nutshell, the Bills was a definitely heartbreaking loss, and a loss that even a non-Bills fan, I think, felt that one, especially in upstate New York.
Oh yeah, and you look at that field goal at the end of the game. At first, when I saw the way it missed, I thought the wind got it.
Yeah.
Because it started inside the right upright and then just dove right. Now, obviously, sometimes the way the guys kick the ball, it can have some sort of weird physical effect that causes it to move right or left. So maybe that was the case, but it's very, you would think maybe the wind had something to do with it. But naturally, CBS showed a graphic that Tyler Bass has never missed a kick to tie or win the game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So naturally, he missed it. That is just such a CBS thing to do. And it's not just, you can't blame CBS for doing it. That's the graphics that they're supposed to show. But it's something called the announcer's curse. We all know it. We all love it. We've heard it before. And they did it again. So obviously you got to feel for Bills fans. I apologize to all the Bills fans out there, especially a couple that I am of my students who are Bills fans. Sorry, not sorry. Being a Jets fan, I cannot root for a division rival, so I was happy to see the Chiefs win. Now, next week, please bring me the downfall of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Kansas City, they were a thorn in that they knocked the Jaguars out of the playoffs last year, and they have now knocked out the Buffalo Bills. I've had to see really close friends deal with that this time around. I dealt with it last year. It's heartbreaking, as I tell people all the time, impartial broadcaster, obviously. And so, I know that Kansas City is a good team. I know that they're a dangerous team. I know that they, I said to people, whatever you think of their offense this year, they have found ways to win. Rashee Rice has gotten better with time, obviously I've covered SMU for a long time, and he played there in his rookie season. He's doing good things. I told people, Travis Kelce, despite having some drops recently here, that's a non-Kelce-esque way of living, so I didn't anticipate that was going to return. But, ultimately, this offense, whatever it has done, it's been enough. even though Kansas City may not be as flashy and it may not be as exciting, and fans might be a little bit nervous coming down the stretch saying, okay, 20 points, 23 points, is this going to be enough? Their defense has gotten better, and they've done enough to win games. At the end of the day, if you're trying to win a championship, you don't care if you win 7-3 or 37-33. If you win the game, you win the game, and you move on. So in this case, that's what they've done. They're the team that obviously made the moves they needed to make. But I felt like the Buffalo Bills shot themselves in the foot, like I was talking about, in some of these. We highly tout, and we should highly tout the Josh Allen factor and what Josh Allen has meant to this team. Without Josh Allen, I don't know if this team wins 4 games a year. So
oh God, no.
When you see what he means to the team, by the way, not voted to be a Pro Bowl. He's an alternate Pro Bowler somehow.
That's a joke.
But because you got to leave spots for other people, apparently. And we talked about it yesterday with Cookie. He was very passionate about it. And by the numbers, shows that almost 100 games played by Tom Brady. And if you look at a pool of, I think it's 96 games for Josh Allen and 94 for Brady, so almost 100 apiece. If you go down the line, Josh Allen, within those almost 100 games, has a better completion percentage, more pass yards, more passing yards per game, more rushing yards, more rushing touchdowns, more touchdowns, and then they equal on interceptions. So it's pretty crazy when you look back on that and you look back on the numbers for Josh Allen. But listen, he has been such an integral part of this team. He's the reason, a huge reason why they are where they are. But there were mistakes that were made in this game. And Buffalo got away with something here when they tried to fake and run it on a fake punt with Damar Hamlin. That didn't work out.
That was such a stupid play call. What were the... If it's 4th and 2, okay. But 4th and 5? What the heck was that call?
Well, my thing
That was just stupid.
It was in the world.
Awful call.
Right, it was a bad call. Wrong personnel, nothing against Damar Hamlin.
Personnel, nothing. That was just a terrible play call.
But I'm saying doing? if you're gonna try and run it, then and run it up the middle. I mean,
they ran it to the outside.
Essentially, well, I mean, you're essentially doing a running play in traffic. You're not throwing the ball. You're not pitching it in a place where you're going to really try and get a guy to, the far portion of the field. I don't understand that call, but I also, like I said, highly touting Josh Allen. There were mistakes that were made down the field. Now, when you look at that, you force a pass to Stephon Diggs, you go too low. Then you force a pass to Stephon that's outside that could have been intercepted. Then Stephon is right there, and you don't hit him. And then, like I said, on the very next play on 3rd and 9, he had 2 guys in the middle of the field, and he didn't go to that. So I feel this, and I could be right, could be wrong. I mean, I'm not in the minds and the hearts of these players that when they play the Chiefs, they know it's the big bad wolf, and there's jitters. And I honestly feel like some of those jitters, I mean, as you go on, it's like, okay, we got a touchdown. All right, we're up. Okay, we're up by this. We're up 10-3. Okay, we're doing this. All right, we're doing that. We held them to a field goal. So there's these moments, but when you're playing the Patriots in the recent past, and when you're playing the Chiefs, whether people admit it or not, I feel like there are these jitter moments. Like, we know 100%. We can't. What'd you say?
I said 100%.
Yeah, like you just know. It's like, I'm playing the big bad wolf. They're trying to blow my house down. I did everything I possibly could to make the foundation okay. But what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? And I think they kind of get in their own head. And for the Buffalo Bills, for as well as they started the game and everything that they were doing running the ball and condensing the clock, and when they had to make those passes, I mean, Shakir in moments in this game, he disappears, not because he's not doing his job, but it's just he fades away.
He also got hit pretty hard.
Yeah, but I mean,
he took a big hit and then was out for a little while.
But you look at it down the game, you look at it down the stretch. Shakir is a guy who has proven in playoffs this year that they can trust him. They know that their receivers are not, and I would include Stephon Diggs in this. They don't have a receiving core that they can really lean on and trust. They didn't do a lot with Kincaid. Early on in the game, they did hardly nothing with him. Then when they used him, there were things that worked. But you ask yourself the question of the forcing to Diggs instead of going to Shakir, instead of going to Kincaid, instead of trying to work something out with James Cook. Josh Allen not taking off and running when we've seen him do it in times where we need it. Some of those pieces in that final drive, you say Buffalo shot their own foot off. I mean, they didn't make the passes that needed to be made. They forced the passes that didn't need to be forced, and they got away from the run in certain places. And then there were just some bad throws by Josh. And listen, I don't expect him to be perfect. I'm not putting it all on him. I'm looking at this and saying, on that last drive, knowing that you had an opportunity to beat the big bad wolf, you had time on your side. It just seemed like the Bills in the first half on those first couple series and the Bills on the final series of the game, they looked like two different teams. And that was probably the saddest part, to watch Bills fans' eyes as this team just looked very different from beginning to end in this game. And ultimately, Pat Mahomes didn't have to do much of anything but sit and watch late in the fourth quarter and then take a knee.
It's the Mahomes factor. I mean, when teams go and play Mahomes in the playoffs, it's intimidating. It's the same thing that Tom Brady did. When you were talking about that, you're talking about like the big bad wolf and everything. The first name that came to my head was Tiger Woods. You think about in the mid 2000s when Tiger Woods was absolutely dominating golf.
Yeah.
If Tiger was in second and starting to make a run, and whoever he's trying to catch is playing with him, there's a serious amount of intimidation there. Look at the 2019 Masters. He was playing with the two guys who had the lead, in Tony Finau and Francesco Molinari, in the final round, because they did threesomes that day because they were trying to beat the rain. And Tiger just went about his business, just plotted himself around the golf course, just being Tiger Woods. But the fact that Tiger Woods was back and crawling up the leaderboard was intimidating for these guys. They got nervous. Koepka put one in the water. Molinari put one in the water. Finau put one in the water on 12. And sure enough, Tiger just played his game and won his fifth green jacket. That particular tournament is what makes me think about this the most. Because you had guys like Brady back in his heyday with the Patriots, when if you're going to play Tom Brady, and especially because most of the time you're going to Foxborough to play Tom Brady, it's intimidating. Brady and Belichick, Mahomes and Andy Reid. I'm sure it was intimidating for teams to play Joe Montana. It's just how it is. You go into play these quarterbacks and play these teams, and it's intimidating. If the ones that can get past them are obviously going to be the ones who don't let the intimidation factor get to them. Yeah. Clearly, Josh Allen cannot beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs. He can beat them in the regular season. He's done it the last 2 years. But he cannot beat them in the postseason. Not even at home. So clearly, he has a major issue with postseason Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. But if you look back at their run game, yeah, they kind of got away from the run game a little bit. Josh Allen led the team in rushing yards, but in the second half, anytime they ran the ball, like they were getting stopped for a 4 or 5 yard loss with James Cook. The Chiefs were all over him. They could not run the ball with James Cook in the second half. They just couldn't. Plain and simple. The Chiefs' defense, the front seven, did their job. So Josh Allen had to run the ball. And Josh Allen took some crazy deep shots down the field. He threw one that I think traveled 70 yards in the air that he threw to Stephon Diggs that went through his arms. Yeah. He threw another one about 60 yards. I don't know who the heck number 16 is for Buffalo. It's a guy I'd never heard of, but almost makes a ridiculous catch. Just couldn't quite hold on. And then they had to start running the ball. Start throwing these little dinks and dunks, but that's not Josh Allen's game. Josh Allen's a gunslinger. He likes to air it out. Not having Gabe Davis was an issue for that team. Gabe Davis is your guy that you throw it deep to. because he's got the speed. He can beat the one-on-one matchup, and it didn't work out. But
Well,
hats off to the Chiefs. They played another outstanding game, and yeah,
well,
naturally, Chiefs back in the AFC Championship game for year number 6 in a row.
yeah. I mean, again, we talk about building a dynasty, and you say, okay, well, they haven't won enough Super Bowls yet to be considered a dynasty. However, they have the factor of the Patriots. They have that big bad wolf factor. So when I factor in everything when we talk about dynasty, when a team plays you, whatever you look like, and the Chiefs look different this year than they looked last year. However, they are still the big bad wolf. They are still that team that you get nervous about. I mean, for goodness sakes, Travis Kelce was left wide open in something that looked like maybe a cover one, where you got 4 guys that allow Travis Kelce on the left side of the field to go behind him. And as soon as he passes me, I'm going to turn around and look and say, okay, is there anybody back there? No. Okay, then I should probably take off. Is the same thing with Jacksonville last year. I remember sitting watching the game going, did they not scout Travis Kelce? Did they not know that he was a member on the team? You got the number one guy here that Pat Mahomes loves to go to, his security blanket, and you're leaving him wide open. And I mean, he had a couple touchdowns, could have had 3 potentially. If I see Taylor Swift one more time, I'm going to lose it.
My God, I wanted to puke.
But let me make known a couple things here, and I got to give Cookie credit for one of them here. So Haley Steinfeld allegedly dating Josh Allen. Now Haley Steinfeld is
Who?
She was in Pitch Perfect. She is now in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as the new Hawkeye.
Again. Who?
And she's also a singer. So beautiful. She was in Bumblebee too. She was in the movie Transformers spinoff thing. So Haley Steinfeld, she allegedly had said, I don't want to be on camera. This is Josh's thing. This is his game. This is his life. This is his world. I don't want to be on camera. Well, allegedly, Taylor doesn't necessarily want to be on camera, according to some, but her makeup and her lipstick tell me different, and she seems to always be prepared for it. Now, I put up a post yesterday, and I wanted to read this post to you because I want to read it word for word, and then I'll tell you about the moment that this happened that it really frustrated me. So, there was this Taylor moment after an Isaiah Pacheco touchdown. Now, Isaiah Pacheco is not dating Taylor.
Yep.
And so after Kelce scores, now he does a little heart, and it feels like it's a music video for Taylor Swift. And then and I'm not saying don't show love and this and that. It's just, I don't know. I never pictured Travis Kelce. I still think this thing is not real. I think it's a publicity stunt for Travis Kelce, maybe the Chiefs and Taylor Swift. I don't really buy it. But and I hope that I'm wrong. I hope it's actual love. I don't think that it is. But, we look at this moment. He scores, Kelce scores, they go up to her, and you go, okay. All right, when Tony Romo used to do things, they would go to Jessica Simpson. All right, fine. When Isaiah Pacheco scored, they cut away almost immediately to Taylor Swift. That's not her boyfriend. They cut away to her, not to Pacheco's family, not to the front office, not to the owner of the team, to Taylor Swift, folks. So, this is what I want. At every Taylor Swift concert from here on out, I want there to be a Chiefs montage that interrupts every single song that she has. In the middle of
that'd be lovely.
In the
That'd
middle of
awesome.
her song, I want them to do the oh, I want that to happen in there. I want Travis Kelce on the board. I want Pacheco. I want Andy Reid dancing in a robe eating cookies. That's what I want when she's at her concert, because Swifties would lose their minds if anybody showed up that wasn't Taylor. So my thing is, listen, Travis, if it's real, have a great time. Have fun. Enjoy your girlfriend. All that good stuff. Whatever. But at the end of the day, Isaiah Pacheco's touchdown has no connection to Taylor Swift.
I know.
And I don't understand those
I saw that and I wanted to puke.
And it makes no sense. But now it's at the point where it's just egregious. And now I'm sitting here thinking, like, does she get some type of money for this or whatever? So the Bills lose the game. It's heartbreaking. It's sad. It's tough. we got to move on to the PGA Tour here, and Nick Dunlap here for a moment to talk about his incredible moment in history. And then we have a heartwarming sports card story between two brothers that you do not want to miss coming up right after that. What do you got, Murph?
So, for those that did not pay attention to the American Express this week, which I'm willing to bet's probably a decent amount of you with the football going on, Nick Dunlap is a 20-year-old amateur who was a sophomore at the University of Alabama, the reigning United States amateur champion, had already punched his ticket to the Masters, the Masters, the U.S. Open, and the Open Championship, the British Open. Now that he has just won a PGA Tour event, becoming the first amateur to win a PGA Tour event since 1991, little fun fact about that. You want to take a random guess, and it's a name you might know. Do you have a guess at who that last amateur was to win a tour event? And it was not Tiger Woods.
I do not. I do not have a guess.
It was Lefty. Phil Mickelson.
Oh, wow.
Was the last amateur to win a PGA Tour event back in 1991. He is also the youngest amateur to win a PGA Tour event in more than 110 years, since 1910, which is awfully impressive. So, one thing you should know about amateur golfers on the PGA Tour, they cannot collect a check. They are not allowed to collect any winnings. So the $1.512 million that he would have won being a professional, that now goes to the second place, the runner-up, Christian Bezadenhout. So yeah, that's $1.5 million that he will never see. So basically the way it works is the money basically just all goes down one spot.
Okay.
So the second place gets first place money, third place gets second place money, and so on and so forth. So, since he was not a PGA Tour member at the start of the week, he also doesn't receive the 500 FedEx Cup points for winning the event. But those points do not get transferred. Bezadenhout will only get second place points. That's besides the point. Now, the real question for this is whether or not he is going to turn professional.
Yeah.
Now, amateurs to turn professional is an interesting case. Because if you're the United States Amateur Champion, you are eligible to play in the Masters, the U.S. Open, and the Open Championship. As a winner on the PGA Tour in the year 2024, you are eligible to play in the Masters, the U.S. Open, not the Open, but the PGA Championship. So he would still be able to play in 3 majors should he turn professional. He also gets a 2-year exemption and membership on the PGA Tour that will last through the 2026 season, if he were to take it. If he does not turn professional before the end of this season, he will have 30 days following the completion of the season to turn pro, in which he will take up membership for the 2025 season. I would bet my life savings that by that point he will have turned professional. If he does not turn professional and remains an amateur and plays in the Masters, the U.S. Open, and the PGA and the Open, he will still be able to play in those events and still play in. He will still be able to play in certain events, but as a winner, you can only play in up to 12 events as a non-PGA Tour member, full field events. So this is the debate.
Yeah.
If he were to not turn pro.
Yeah.
He essentially would, obviously he forfeits his money. He'll forfeit any winnings that he would win in any of these tournaments going forward.
Yeah.
He would not be able to play in any more than 12 PGA Tour events. However, he would be able to still compete on the collegiate circuit. He would still be able to play for the University of Alabama this upcoming season. If I were him, granted, fellow Team TaylorMade player, for him, playing the new QI10 driver. Pretty cool. If I were him and I had this decision to make, I would turn professional today. And the reason why is because you still get to play in the 3 majors. So he would technically lose his exemption as the USAM champ in the Masters, and the U.S. Open, as well as the Open. But he can also earn a spot in the Open if he were to become one of the top 50 players in the world, which I think this win propelled him up to, I believe it was 68th or something like that, something in the 60s. So that's not out of reach if he turns professional and plays well. He could still earn a spot in the Open Championship.
Yeah.
He would get to play in all 7 remaining signature events. TPC, he'll play at the Waste Management. He'll play at the Players. He'll play at the ATT Pebble Beach Pro-Am. All of the designated events for the rest of the year. All the signature events. But he would have to turn pro in order to play in those events. Which is why I do think he would be doing himself a disservice if he decided to stay put. Now, he may not want to do that to his Alabama teammates, and I get that. But if you're Nick Dunlap, you got to look out for yourself. But the one thing I do want to mention about how he played, because obviously a lot of what we just talked about there was, what he will be able to do now that he's a PGA Tour winner. But in terms of how he played, he was, I believe it was 2 down with 4 to play. Makes a birdie he made a birdie to get even with Sam Burns on the 17th tee.
Yeah.
Puts a ball on the green. Sam Burns hits it in the water. So he's tied for the lead. Sam Burns is in the water. He gets up and down for par. Sam Burns ends up making a 5. So now he's got a 2-shot lead going to the 18th tee. And he hits his tee shot into the right rough. It's dormant Bermuda, and it was kind of sitting up, and he had a little hill he had to get over. At this point in time, he did not know he had only a 1-shot lead because Bezuidenhout had birdied the 18th hole to get into the clubhouse at 28 under par. So he's 29 under. Bezuidenhout's 28. He is not aware that he only has a 2-shot lead, not a 1-shot lead. His shot was basically a don't go anywhere near the water type shot. Finishing decently right of the green, but got a ridiculously good break as it kind of flowed down the hill and ended up just off the green. Kind of a tricky chip shot, but he did have a lot of green to work with. So he hits his chip shot to about 6 feet past the hole, and he knows he's got to make, at this point now he knows he has to make the putt to win. Because as he got up to the chip shot, he found out that he saw the leaderboard and he found out it was only a 1-shot lead. So now he knows he has to make it or he's going to a playoff. And sure enough, he knocks it in and becomes the first amateur to win a PGA Tour event since Phil Mickelson back in 1991. Really, really cool story. Probably the best story off since Michael Block at the PGA Championship last year.
Yeah. And congratulations to Nick Dunlap and this history that he has made, as well as what he's doing for his life, his future, and for the future of golf. It's exciting. It's fun. It brings a lot of non-golf fans into it. When moments like this happen, it gets people involved. It gets people excited. And so that's a beautiful part of that. Speaking of beautiful stories to tell, it is my pleasure, my honor, and my privilege to tell this story of Andy Cook thanks to his brother. And in telling this story, I have the opportunity to share some things with you about this little guy. So this is Andy. Andy as a young child, and Andy Cook here wearing Buffalo Bills gear became a San Francisco 49ers fan. But he, as a kid growing up with his brother Jeff, who I've gotten to know Cookie, this is the story. Now, Andy and his brother Jeff, they grow up, they're close, they spend a ton of time together. Andy's down in Georgia. Andy likes to collect sports cards. He meets a gentleman who owned a sports card shop, and he would go in there to buy cards. He realized that the gentleman was struggling with his store. And so Andy said, "Hey, can I help you out? What can I do?" So he said, obviously he couldn't pay. So Andy said, "Pay me in sports cards." He said, "I'm a San Francisco 49ers fan. My brother, Jeff, well, he likes those sports cards. And he likes Josh Allen. And the guy said, the owner of the sports card shop said to Andy, okay, so all I need to do is give you Josh Allen rookies. He stinks. And he gave him a bunch of Josh Allen rookie cards, gave him a bunch of Niners cards. And you can see here Andy on the left, Jeff on the right. Gave him these cards that would be in a collection that would mean so much to these two brothers and be so close to each other. Andy passed away from a pulmonary embolism in his early 30s. In passing away, this little boy forever lives on with us, means the world to his parents, and means the world to his family, including Jeff. And so as we remember Andy Cook, and we have his ashes in so many different places now and honoring his life, there's a really interesting thing that happened in that his brother Jeff took some of those cards, including a Tom Brady rookie that he sold for almost $2,000, and sold some of these, not all of these, he still has a ton of them, sold some cards to the tune of $10,000. And what did he do with that $10,000? He helped his brother's memory to live on. And how does that memory live on? Right here. What you're seeing here is a Buffalo Bills fan-centric basement. You have the bar, you have TVs everywhere, you have places to sit and enjoy some time together. And that time that you have together is an opportunity to build new memories, right? How do you help it to live on? Like I heard from Jeff yesterday, he said, yeah, I can sit here and take my brother and simply have a box of cards to remember him by sitting somewhere. Okay, have that box of cards in a closet. No, I decide to have my brother on display in this room to honor him. Every time I walk down there, to see him, to know him, to feel that energy, to know he's there. And I never got to know Andy, but through Jeff I get to, and through his family, I'm sure I will. But what I do know is when somebody passes on that means the world to us, what better way to honor him than to build something connected to his memory, connected to your sports card world of loving each other, or however we can connect to our loved ones, to take a simple box of cards and turn it into a room where people can sit and be with each other, spend time with each other, make new memories, and build new lasting friendships that will withstand all tests and time. Like I said, I don't know Andy, but I can only imagine how proud he is of his brother and his family that they decided to honor him with a room where you can build relationships from this relationship, where we can pay it forward, and Andy's love can be a domino effect. What started with cards continues with a place where we can come together, spend time with one another, and truly laugh, cry, scream at the TV, but make memories. We honor our loved ones in really special ways. And Andy is honored every single day in a place that is welcoming, warm, and home. And what better way to honor your brother than to every single day be able to go somewhere that you would have went and sat with him every chance you got. Andy, we miss you. We send you our love. And now, then, and always, I believe in the Almighty God and that you are with us. You're with Cookie. You're with your parents. You're with your entire family. I thank you for everything you did. I thank you for helping that man, because you helping that man gave you those cards that your brother took to create something in your honor. It's all cyclical. It's all beautiful. And it's all on display. Your love is always with us, Andy. We miss you. We send you love. And I thank you for somehow, some way, with God sending me your brother, because he has been an absolute treasure. God bless you, Andy, in heaven, and God bless your family. With that being said, Murph, thank you. Thank you for being my buddy, and thank you for making memories with me in this wonderful studio and everywhere we get to go. It's stories like that that help us all to reconnect, reflect, refocus, and move forward. So, as I always tell you off the air, and I mean it with everything I got, you're not just a broadcaster, you're not just somebody who knows how to talk about this and that. You're a brother to me, you're a friend to me, and to honor the love and appreciation that I always hope to show people on this show, you know I love you. I love you like family, and I always appreciate our time together.
Forgot to turn off my my cough button. But of course, man, and same goes to you as always. Touching story, it really is. Really cool thing that Cookie was able to do to remember and honor his brother. But I figured before we go, just because I have him in my hand,
Yeah.
look what I got. These are
Nice.
yours, my friend.
Those are my babies. That's
These are
better.
yours.
Those are my
So
first ever graded cards. Yeah.
real quick before we go, because I actually do have to go. I got to get to a doctor's appointment.
Yeah.
I'm just going to show off because DT did really well on his grades. So we're just going to show off some of these. This is just the Trevor Lawrence Clear Vision. This is a PSA 10. He did really well on some of these. This one, the Illusions, a little bummed that this one only got a 9, but really, really cool card. This one was previously mine, but you made a trade with me. Really, really cool to see this one get a 10. This is the Aqua Brett Beatty Topps Update Rookie Auto, or Topps Chrome Update Rookie Auto. This one we were disappointed about. Really disappointed about, especially with how well they're playing right now. Lamar. This is the Rookie Wave, and it's a PSA 9. You'll still do well with this card, but it is very unfortunate that only got a 9. We got 2 of these Mosaic CJ Stroud NFL debuts. Both came back PSA 10. We got Mosaic Silver Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
That came back a 10. We got 2023 Mosaic Bijan. That's a 10. Whoa, I'm knocking things over. This was probably the biggest card that you gave me to grade, and sure enough, we did well with the grade. So this is a Patrick Mahomes. This was Panini Classics in his Texas A&M uniform. That's a PSA 10. This is a card that's not exactly the most valuable card you sent me, but it definitely is a really, really cool one that I know you really like.
Yeah.
Numbered to 25. This is Blake Bortles on a
draft picks.
Prism Draft Picks, red, white, and blue insert. Really, really, really cool card. That's got to be a good PC card for you. Then we had Justin Herbert. That's just a Chronicles rookie. And last but not least, there was a red ice Prism Draft Picks Zay Flowers.
Yeah.
PSA 9. So you did pretty well, my man. You got, let's see, we did 1,
9 10s.
2,
9
yeah,
10s.
9 10s. 9 10s and 3 9s.
Yeah.
This order actually came back really quick. I sent this order out because I got 4 things, and I got 4 things done in that order. 1, I'm going to pull those out. 1 was done, 2 was done.
Yeah, these came back very fast from PSA.
I think I sold the other one, but these came back very fast. This was let's see, they received these cards on, and I have another order that just went into assembly, so these are probably gonna get shipped out this week. I sent this order on, they got it December 18th. We got them back, I think it was January 12th, something like that.
Yeah.
But the 3 cards I sent, and 4 of the cards I sent in that order. The other one I'm not going to show because it's didn't grade well. Purple Shock Trevor Lawrence. that graded a 10. This one was courtesy of GG Cards and Breaks.
Yes.
That was a big one. Glad I got that one. And then we had a Jalen Hurts green mosaic. I actually got this card for free from a box of Mosaic 2020 that I basically got for free. So that's a really cool one. And same with this Joe Burrow. I got this one for free. Disappointed that it was a 9, but that's okay. Still a really cool card. But that was just my stuff that I got out of that. But that being said, I really do have to go. I got to probably leave here in the next 2 or 3 minutes to get to make it to this appointment. But great show as always, man, and we'll see you next week.
Sounds good, Murph. Stay safe.
Ravens and Niners, by the way. Those are my picks.
Yeah, there you go. That coming from Murph. Appreciate you as always, Murph. I look forward to talking with you soon. Have a great day, and I hope all goes well.
Yes, sir. You too.
Thank you. And once again, folks, that coming from GG Cards and Breaks, that very special story that we got to share about Cookie and his brother, Andy. As we remember Andy today and always, true honor for me to be able to tell this story, and I wouldn't be able to tell this story without the information from Jeff, from Andy's brother Jeff, a.k.a. Cookie, from him, and also his green light to share that with you today. So I appreciate everything that he shared with me, and I appreciate the fact that he was okay with me sharing that today. So with that being said, we're going to take a quick step aside. Tyus Battle coming up right after this.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We are here where sports meets life, and you can see that there is a vacancy on the side of me here, and who is going to take up that picture but the man, Tyus Battle. Very happy to have him here with us here today. Tyus is, and I don't think I ever told Tyus this, but one of my favorite Syracuse basketball players of these last couple decades here. One of my favorite guys to watch, somebody who literally left it all out on the floor. If he was playing injured, you didn't know it. If he was playing sick, you didn't know it. If he was having a bad game a couple games before, you didn't really know that either. One of the guys that's in such a long history of Syracuse basketball players is really an honor that he came to Syracuse and didn't go anywhere else. So Tyus Battle is here with me picture in picture. I had to give you that intro, Tyus, because you deserve it, man. Like I said,
Appreciate
one of my
it.
favorites, and you're always smiling, dude. I don't know what it is, but, like good game, bad game, indifferent, you were always just locked in, and truly one of my favorites that I've seen in a Syracuse uniform. So thanks for being with us.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So you came back to Syracuse. Tell me why. How did you end up back in Cuse for this Miami game?
Well, actually, I'm home rehabbing. I had a surgery on my knee, so I decided to make the rounds. Go see my little brother play in Arkansas. I'll go to see my little sister's high school games, and I had to go catch a Syracuse ACC game. So I was happy to be up there.
Yeah, so you go and you see the Syracuse game. Obviously, you picked a good one. It's the first time that Syracuse's dome felt like the dome that maybe you were used to. It's been a minute since it's felt that way. When you heard the crowd and you saw the excitement and all of the emotion on a Saturday at noon, watching this and being back in the dome, did that atmosphere bring you back to you? Did it bring you to any game that you remembered? Hearing that and seeing that, I mean, for me, growing up in Syracuse, that moment really felt like the dome sounded like the dome. Did it have that effect on you, and did it bring you back to any memories?
It definitely did. I actually went to a Syracuse game. I saw them play against Colgate in the beginning of the season, and the dome wasn't really at where it normally was at back in the day. But when I walked in this time, it definitely felt different. I saw the student section was pretty much filled. So it definitely brought me back to the old ACC games when my teams used to play, and it just I don't know if the fans know how much energy that brings for our team. I think as a team we feed off that, and as you saw, it was a great game. So hopefully the fans keep on coming.
Yeah, and we know that Syracuse fans, when they have some moments, they might boo at home. They might have that. They definitely let you know how they're feeling in the moment. Having endured those moments with Syracuse fans, how would you describe the Syracuse fan base inside of the dome, knowing that they never shy away, good, bad, or indifferent, from letting you know how they feel?
I think that's just how all Northeast teams are. Honestly, they're just very honest with the way they feel. But when you're winning games and stuff like that, they will show up and support the team, and it just shows how much love and support they have for their programs out here. So, I mean, as a player that played for Syracuse, I loved it. I loved it. I say it everywhere I go that the Syracuse fan base is one of the best in the country.
Yeah, when you go back to those days when you played at Syracuse, obviously your head coach being Jim Boeheim, now Adrian Autry in his first season taking over the reins. What have been your thoughts on Adrian Autry as a head coach and just what you've seen so far in the way that this team has competed? They're undefeated at home. They have 13 wins in 18 games at the time that we're talking right now. What can you say about the Adrian Autry being the leader of this team and being, the one that's in charge?
Yeah, I mean, I've known Coach Red for a while. I mean, he was assistant coach when I was at Syracuse, and I mean, the whole coaching staff, they all played under Coach Boeheim. They understand what it is to be a student athlete and a Syracuse basketball player. And I think Coach Red, he's a player's coach. I think the players love playing for Coach Red. I think he's a really amazing recruiter. I know he brought a lot of guys over to the Syracuse program, and
Yeah.
not doing a great job. I think he's doing an amazing job, and I'm excited to keep on continuing to see this team grow and build on wins.
Here at Tyus Battle on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. Syracuse Orange basketball alum. like you said, coming back and being in the dome and coming back for the Colgate game, and it doesn't really feel that, that same feeling. And then you get it with Miami, you being a guard on this team and somebody who, obviously you wanted the ball at the end of the game. Quadir Copeland, Judah Mintz, J.J. Starling. There's three different guys back there right now. I know Kyle Cuff in rotation and whatnot. But when you look at the shooting, J.J. Starling had his best game at Syracuse so far in the game that you saw. Quadir Copeland has been this silent killer that has been on this upward trajectory, and Judah Mintz was the guy that they were leaning on last season. What do you think about the backcourt of Syracuse so far?
I think they're confident guys. They're talented guys. They all excel at what they do. And the great thing is they're all very young.
Yeah.
So you're going to see a lot of growth out of this team, and especially as the season goes on and as the years go on. And that Miami game was a perfect example. I mean, Quadir was having a tough offensive game, struggling a little bit offensively, but that never wavered his confidence at all. I mean, he stepped into the three. He's not really known as a three-point shooter, but he's a confident kid. So when he got that opportunity, to shoot the ball and get a win for Syracuse, it made it happen, and that's what matters.
And you talk about that, being a confident guy to go out there and to take that shot. The play, because again, coming down the stretch, in Syracuse games where you're dribbling the ball and you're watching that clock tick and you're thinking in your head what you're going to do. You're trying to watch things develop. When we go back and we watch this play, there's 18 seconds left and Judah's dribbling the ball, and fans kind of have that steady air that they're breathing out there, and that just kind of, and then with 8 seconds left, you heard it change into, all right, Judah, what are we doing? And then he goes and rolls out to the right. Now, if you go back and you watch it, and I got a video up of it on our social media, but when you go back and you watch the play, Q was in. Q was, so if we're looking at if you're coming from behind the basket, you got Judah right here. When Judah was at the top of the key, Q's inside. And then Judah comes over here, and then Q fades back. And then you just see this pass go flying over everybody's head to the corner, and you're thinking, who the heck is in this corner? Did you like the play? Did you like the setup? I mean, obviously we could say hindsight 2020. I mean, obviously he made the shot. But let's go to the play itself. Is it something that you would have liked to be a part of? Is it something that maybe you tried to do at Syracuse? Is like, okay, I know they're going to key in on me, and one of my guys is going to shift out, and I'm going to hit him. Bring me into the play.
I mean, as a basketball player, you also have to understand the score. I mean, it's tied up, so you're pretty much playing with house money. You just want to get a shot up at the rim.
Yeah.
Of course, you want it in Judah's hands, JJ's hands to make a play at the end of the game. But Judah didn't really have open look, so he made the right play. He made the perfect read, skips across court. Quadir is ready to shoot. And I thought it was a great play,
You left Syracuse early to try your opportunity in the NBA. Judah, as a true freshman after last season, went to the NBA Combine to get some information and decided to come back. Heart to heart, guard to guard, what's your advice for Judah?
Just to keep on working. I mean, at the end of the day, Judah's so young, and I was at the moment too. I was so young, and there's so much more to the basketball, to his basketball career, and things he can improve on. And the biggest thing you want to do is enjoy where you're at in the moments you're having right now. Don't look too far into the future, because that can really mess you up. It can mess you up mentally. It can mess you up. You'll just be, I don't know. As an athlete, and what I've learned now, I always like to be present, present in what's going on in my situation right now. And so I would say to him, just worry about this season, take it season by season, worry about this team, worry about winning games, and good things will happen based off that.
Yeah, it seems like in the world we live in today, there's always this push, right, to leave early. There's this push that, and I don't know what agents are saying what, but there's 60 spots in the NBA draft. Only the first round has guaranteed money. So when we're in situations like this, there's been a lot of SU guys like yourself, like Malachi Richardson, like Tyler Lydon and Tyler Ennis, that took that chance, took that jump to see what you can do. Hindsight 2020, was it the right time for you to jump? Was it the right time to do it? Did you hear, I mean, basically, I think two parts of this question is, what did you hear from scouts, number one? And then the other side of it was, hindsight 2020, do you feel like, hey, you know what, looking back on it, I would do the same thing?
Yeah, I mean, hindsight 2020, I would have done the same thing. I mean, for me, I was ending my junior year. We had a tough time in the tournament. Um, and I was ready to graduate already. Like I did the whole year, I did a ton of extra credits, took 19 credits each semester, did a ton of summer classes, did a ton of winter classes to prepare myself to graduate my junior year. So, and then the next year, unfortunately, was COVID, so we didn't even get to finish out a season. So hindsight 2020, I think I definitely made the right decision. I don't think mentally, if I'm being honest, mentally going into the draft process, I was as prepared as I wasn't mentally prepared enough. I should have been mentally more locked in into the process, and I dealt with some injuries at the time during the draft process. So, I mean, but it is what it is. I mean, all I could do right now is learn from my younger self and not let those mistakes happen again.
You said mentally you weren't prepared. What makes you say that? What was it about the mental side of things?
I think I wasn't like aggressive enough at times. You know, I didn't take as many chances that I would have liked. Um, and and with situations like that, you really can't afford to do that, you know, because a lot of times, you know, with the NBA, it's a lot about getting lucky and making the most of your opportunity. And I think when I had opportunities, I didn't always make the most of it. Um, Do I believe I'm good enough to be an NBA player? Of course. You know, I would never have a doubt in my mind about that. But I think when the opportunities come, I have to make, you know, the most of those. And that's for any player.
Here with Tyus Battle, Syracuse Orange basketball alum and pro basketball player here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You have now seen the inner workings of the NBA, right? You've seen things that people dream about, people want to see, people prognosticate about and try to figure out. How would you describe the NBA and kind of threading the needle to get into the NBA now that you've had experience in this world personally? How
Hmm.
would you describe just how difficult it is to get in and what the entire kind of scope is through your viewfinder of the National Basketball Association?
I would say it's all about fit. It's really all about fit. I mean, there's a lot of guys who are good enough. You know, I played in the G League. I played against a bunch of NBA guys. I played overseas in a bunch of different countries. And everywhere I've been, there's guys good enough to play in the NBA. And there's guys I played who were in the NBA, I played against overseas and stuff like that. So, but a lot of it's about fit, and a lot of it's about luck and making the most out of your opportunity, like I said. So, um, of course, you have to be an extremely hard worker, extremely professional, um, because not every player they have the same amount of opportunities the next player has, you know? Because at the end of the day, it is a business, and you just have to figure it out, you know. So um, for any player that's has a chance, they'll see it's never easy, but nothing in life is easy. So it's that's how it is.
Yeah, no, it's a difficult road to get into the NBA and a difficult, even more difficult road to stay within the NBA. And like you said, I mean, about playing overseas. Let's go into the G League and just what that was for you, because I feel like there has been an uptick in maybe support of the G League, exposure of the G League, getting information out there, getting games out there. That there's some really really talented guys. I mean, I've been a Toronto Raptors fan pretty much my whole life. They came out in '95. I was 9 years old, and I know that they used the Raptors 905, and there were guys that were on that championship team, including their head coach, who all came from the G League. So what was the G League atmosphere like? And just to share with everybody, what franchise you were connected to when you were learning whatever you were learning, so to kind of bring us on the path of your life in the G League as well.
Yeah, so I played in the G League for a little bit over half a season. That was the COVID year.
Yeah.
I was with the Iowa Wolves, which is the Minnesota Timberwolves G League team. And the G League's a grind. It's a grind. Especially the team I had. We had some really talented guys on my team. And I think that was the year when they traded for D'Angelo Russell. So we also got more guys who came in halfway through the season. So at the end of the year, I had about 7 NBA assignment guys on my team. So we had a really talented squad. Guys like Naz Reid, Jared Vanderbilt, Amari Spellman. So we had a lot of guys. But it was a good year for me just to learn who I am as a basketball player. I mean, it wasn't easy for me mentally. It was definitely a lot of ups and downs. But that whole year, I just took it as a learning experience for me and for the rest of my career. So it wasn't, I think the G League for me wasn't the easiest experience. It was actually one of the hardest basketball experiences of my career mentally.
Yeah.
But it helped me so much throughout the rest of my career.
And like you said, we keep coming back to the mental side of things, right? Mental toughness, mental fortitude, the ability to, use your mind for a positive. And you talk about, I wish I was more mentally prepared going into the NBA. And then you talk about the mental strain that comes from being in the G League and just kind of what you learn from that. So then you go and you play overseas. How has your mental side of the game, your mental health, your mental strength, how has that evolved, and have you seen that spill over into positives overseas?
Oh yeah, I mean overseas is a whole different animal. You're away from home. So my first year out playing overseas, I played in the VTB in Russia, which is a very at the time it was a very high level basketball league, still very high level now. I mean they had 3 EuroLeague teams in that league. Russia's very different in a lot of ways from the United States. So for me, that being my first country living in, it wasn't easy. Plus, I was in Siberia, so it was freezing cold, -45, the coldest it got. No one spoke English, so it wasn't easy. But I learned a lot as a basketball player that year as well, because the European style of play and the overseas style of play is so different from the United States and how we play as Americans. So that year as a rookie overseas player, it was definitely a learning experience as well.
You talk about, I got to stick on this for a second here, because whenever, like if people haven't been to Russia.
Yeah, can you give me 1 second? I'm going to let my dog out. He's
go ahead,
give me 1 second.
You're good. You're good. We'll actually take a step aside for a fast break while he lets his dog out. We'll be back with Tyus Battle right after this. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career, it's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, here where sports meets life. I'm very happy to say that it's now not only just me that has to deal with a dog during a show. So, because my dog, people that know, like in the studio, whatever, I try to, like, I'll bring her in the studio a lot, and I'm always like, all right, let me get her outside, let me get her back in. And when it's the winter, I have to, like, get 2 minutes maybe she's going to be outside. Sometimes she likes to go around. So Tyus, you just made history because it was your dog, not my dog. So
Yeah, he starts growling a little bit. I didn't want to start barking, while I'm doing the interview, so I had to let him out real quick.
What kind of dog do you have?
It's a giant schnauzer.
A giant schnauzer.
Yes.
They're already big, so how big is a giant schnauzer?
Yeah, he's like a decent sized dog, 100 and maybe 10 pounds, 110, 115, around there.
110 pounds. My dog is 10 pounds.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I got a little. I always had 30, 40 pound dogs, and then I met Lily, and that was it. I had her in the playpen. I got up and I got out of the playpen, and when my left leg came down and I was fully out of it, she started crying, and that was the end. She picked me, I picked her. That's life, man. But the thing that I love is, as small of a dog as she is, she has chased away some crazy ex-girlfriends. She's incredible when it comes
really?
Yeah.
See, they always have a good sense of people,
She doesn't bite and she doesn't growl, but she bit and growled at 2 people. So.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So I will tell you that, Tyus, dogs know better than we do. So
They definitely do.
So getting back to, you're overseas, you're in Russia, where every American wants to be, and and it's negative 45 degrees in Siberia. Syracuse fans, at this game these last few days, are like, man, it's cold outside. How did you deal with no English? You're in Russia. It's cold. It sounds like everything that we think of when we think of Russia when you watch a 007 movie. You think of like snow, cold, it's miserable. How did you acclimate yourself to the climate?
I mean, you really have to. Well, for the climate, you really can't acclimate yourself. I mean, you can't be outside much. If honestly, if you do stand outside for more than 5-10 minutes, your eyelashes will start to freeze and stuff like that. So I was outside the least amount as possible. But with the language, I tried to, meet friends so they could try to kind of teach me the Russian language a little bit, show me around the area. But that's what also is great about having American teammates on the team as well. Especially for a lot of Americans, it's not easy being away from home for that long. So just to have people to talk to and go places with, or, spend Thanksgiving with or Christmas with, it means a lot.
Yeah, and you got to do that. You also got to play in China. So, 2 places that America has great relationships with. And so, so for you, seeing these parts of the world that when you're in America, you don't always hear the best things about. What did you take away from Russia and from China and your experiences there. Is it everything that the media says? Is it totally different? You know, I mean, I feel as somebody who is a broadcaster, and I always tell people it says media on my badge, but I don't act like a typical media person. I believe in
Mm,
telling the truth. And I've
yeah.
talked to people from Africa that were like, I had a guy tell me, he said, the places they tell you on the media that are bad in Africa are good, and the ones that
Hmm.
they tell you are great are the ones you shouldn't go to.
Yeah.
So, in the same respect, you've been to Russia, you've been to China. How would you describe the experiences?
Well, honestly, going into Russia, like going into the whole situation of me learning, okay, this is the team I'm going to play for. I was a little nervous. My family was definitely nervous. You know, they were definitely nervous because they don't really travel much. I think my dad may have been out of the country maybe one time or twice. Um, but after living 10 months there, I loved it. You know, I had a great time there. Really got along with the people there, and they really enjoyed me having me around. So I don't think you can always judge a book by its cover in a lot of ways. I know it's cliche, but it's really true. And the same thing, same aspect goes to China as well. I mean, I really enjoyed my time in China. Um, and I had a good time in every country I've been to. I've been in France, I've been in Israel, I lived in Italy as well. So um, I had a great time in every country I've been to so far.
Yeah, and you bring up these places like we were talking about that have, you know, are polarizing at times,
Yeah.
and being in Israel, I mean, you see everything that's happening now, and you said your family was definitely nervous when you were first going over there. How do you look at that? I mean, you're in a place, and now obviously you're back at home in New Jersey, but when you were there, you could have at any time been in harm's way. We now know that it's not really safe. There's people that
Mhm.
won't go overseas at all. My dad and I are supposed to take a trip to Italy. He's paused everything until something, you know, makes him feel a little bit better about the situation. Being in a place like Israel, what was that experience like? Because I remember being in high school having friends that are Jewish, that them taking a trip to Israel for a week, people were
Yeah,
like, is he going to come back? Is he going to be
yeah.
okay? Like, there's always that kind of like background to it. So, what was that experience like?
Honestly, I had a great time in Israel. I had an amazing time. I lived about an hour away from Tel Aviv, so I would drive to Tel Aviv all the time. I always tell people Tel Aviv is like a mini Miami without all the other Miami stuff going on. So it's a great place to be. I mean, it's great weather. People are really nice. Um, but I mean, you have to be smart everywhere you go. You have to be, always cautious, you know. And a lot of times I tell people, I mean, United States is a lot of times not as safe as these other countries in a lot of ways, with our gun violence and stuff like that. So if you're smart, you'll be fine, Just have to do your research and make good choices.
You know, for you, like you said, all these places that you've been to Israel, to Italy, to Russia, to China, and so on and so forth, to France. When you have seen the world in this way, I mean, the thing that you grew up loving as a kid, basketball, has helped you to have an experience that so few people get to have, which is that you've traveled the globe. What, you know, coming off of all of this, what has been the greatest part of it that's not basketball related? Of all the things that you've gotten to do and the places you've gotten to go to, take basketball out of it. What has
Mm.
this done for Tyus Battle, the person?
I mean, I think the most amazing part about it is just meeting people, you know, meeting people, learning about their experiences living in different countries, learning about, what their aspirations are where they would like to live. Um, and it really gives you an appreciation of a lot of ways life in the United States. I think a lot of people here we take advantage of our privileges that we have here.
Yep.
I know a lot of friends a lot of them can't leave their country. A lot of them don't get to travel much. A lot of them have never even, you know, been out the country at all. So I think in a lot of ways, as Americans, we really have to sit back and appreciate, you know, what we have here in the United States. And every time I go overseas, I see that, and when I come back, I just appreciate where I'm at even more.
And like you said, you're home. So back in New Jersey, what did you miss the most now that you're at home in New Jersey? The food, the places, the bring me. I got to know, what are you doing on the day to day as you're rehabbing, as you're getting better. What's the best part? I know obviously family, but
Yeah,
when you come back to New Jersey, what are those things that you're like, man? The moment I get to go back home, I got to eat here. I got to do
yeah.
this. Bring me into that.
Well, every time I get back home from overseas, I definitely I order myself a big, large pie, pizza pie, every single time. And from my favorite place in New Jersey. And if people know, they know New Jersey and New York City, we have the best pizza. And I would say in the world. I know I lived in Italy. I had the pizza. It was good, but it wasn't, on par with us. So I would say I always order a slice of pizza or a pizza pie. And it just feels good to hear people speak English around me. I think that's the biggest thing. The hardest thing living overseas is not, always understanding what people are saying. I use a lot of Google Translate while I'm overseas. So just to hear conversations and understand what people are talking about is just it's a great feeling.
What's it like to be around family right now?
Oh, it's great. It's great. I know. I mean, if people know my family, they know we're definitely a basketball family.
Yeah.
It surrounds us. I mean, my little brother, he's playing at Arkansas. My little sister, she's a sophomore in high school right now. So I'm always constantly, checking up on them, going to see their games. Um, so it's great being around, especially, I'm really not home much. So usually when I'm playing overseas, I'm outside the country 10 months out of the year. So unfortunately, I'm hurt right now, but it's a good chance for me to, really connect with my family and catch up with them because, seeing my little sister, she's 15 now, and this would be my fifth year playing professionally, so I don't really get a lot of months with her. So to see her grow into the person she's becoming and is really special.
What's that been like? Like you said, to not get to have as much time with her, and she's so young.
Hmm.
What have you done with that quality time? How are you spending that time with your sister?
Well, that's the thing that's tough too. She's at the age now. She's in high school. I mean, when I was in college, she was only in middle school, so they change a lot. So me trying to connect with her and and teach her little things about basketball and stuff like that has been a lot of fun. It's a learning experience for me, and I'm getting to learn a lot more things about her. Um, but it's great.
We know that, when your brother was being recruited, there's all those conversations about the Battle family and, like you said, being a basketball family. How would you describe being in this family and just what it's like? Because you see things online, you see people kind of speaking for you, you see pictures and videos. Oh, the family's out here. Oh, they're doing this right now. But,
Hmm.
from the inside out, because I always feel like you should go to the actual person and not speak for them. The Battle family. Describe your family to somebody who's never met you before.
We are very well. First off, we definitely are competitive. Definitely are a competitive family. I think everything we do is just, uh, especially the siblings, especially me and my little brother. But take basketball aside, we love each other so much, and no matter if basketball's going good, going bad, we're honest with each other, and we're always there for one another. So I think that's the biggest takeaway from my family.
That coming here from Tyus Battle on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Before I let you go, we're going to play some rapid fire, have some fun with some questions. But before we get to that, Jim Boeheim,
Mhm.
been the head coach at Syracuse for 517 years, and then he decides to step away. I mean, 47 years in reality, folks. I know some people don't know sarcasm, but 47 years he's been the head coach. He steps away. It's so weird how it happens. You know what it's like to be in the ACC tournament. We're out in Greensboro, and he does the post-game press conference. I go into the locker room. I'm the last media person in the locker room. I'm talking to pretty much every guy that's in there, and I do my one-on-one interviews like I've done with you forever. I walk out, I'm talking to my buddy, I'm standing right in front of like the snack area, just kind of texting on my phone. And it was like Syracuse left, they got on the bus, and as soon as the bus door shut, they had a pre planned thing. They emailed us and said, "Hey, Jim Boeheim's not the coach anymore." And he was already out of the building.
Yeah,
It,
it's crazy.
it was, and you just said it was crazy. Go into that moment because it felt like it was disrespectful at him. It felt like it was disrespectful to the media. It felt like it was just for a guy who's literally synonymous with Syracuse, who spent his whole life in Syracuse. It just felt detached. It felt cold. It it felt like it was just this way of like, yeah, he was here, now he's not. Let's move on. And
Mm.
to somebody who's a Hall of Famer, like, I mean, even talking about it right now, it kind of like it gives you that feeling in the pit of your stomach that I just really don't like.
Yeah. Well, I would definitely say it was definitely I would say it was a little rushed. I don't know whether things went into it, especially I was away for Syracuse for so long, but the things that Coach Bam did for the Syracuse basketball, the university and the community is you can't put into words. I mean, he gave everything he had to just the community of Syracuse. And I know people might say what they might say about his personality and stuff like that, but he was a man of action, he always donated as much as he could to, the children of Syracuse, the people of Syracuse, and I think when we look back to his career, put basketball aside, I think people will always remember that.
Well, I got to hit you with this too because you left right before the NIL and the transfer portal and college free agency and all that good stuff. Would Tyus Battle have had an NIL deal? What do you think about seeing student athletes at Syracuse with $100 bills in their hands and Maseratis behind them and Lamborghinis and king chairs and they're wearing crowns? I mean, how do you look at this whole NIL transfer portal realignment craziness where conferences don't look the same? If you were in the ACC next season, you would be playing Cal and Stanford and SMU, which is in Texas, in
Yeah.
in your conference play. So, how do you view what college basketball became literally right after you left? And
Yeah.
would Tyus Battle be in that NIL world?
Well, I think first off, I think it's amazing for the athletes. Amazing, because as an athlete, when I was in college, I mean, it wasn't always easy,
Yeah.
you know, and I always used to tell people, like, if you have a guy who's, say, an amazing musician, right? And they can make money, making their music, selling their music, stuff like that. But as an athlete, if we're a really good athlete, we bring money to the university. We're like we're starting behind the eight ball. Like our careers are starting a little bit later, which is not always fair. Um, and on the flip side too, a lot of athletes, especially once they become pros, one injury can ruin your basketball career, or
Yeah.
your whatever other sports career you're in. So I think it's great for the athletes. I mean, I think they definitely need to figure out a better way to facilitate this whole NIL thing. Um, but it's hard to do. I mean, especially, it started so late. I think it should have started a lot of years before, when they're making video games and doing all those other things. But I think it's good for the athletes. I know not every coach is happy about it, but it's we have to adjust to the times, and I don't think NIL is going to go anywhere anytime soon.
Would you be in it if you had the
Oh,
chance?
of course. I think every college. I speak to guys who are my years, past my years. Every guy, every player would definitely be in it. I mean, you have to take advantage of what you can do and what money you can make, as an athlete. You don't as athletes we have a small time period, that we're able to play the sport. So you have to, you know, try to make as much money as you can during that time as an athlete. So I'm happy for the players now. I'm happy for my little brother now. He's making money playing basketball. Um, so I think it's great for
I think you need to bring him out on the court and bet him some of that NIL money. See if you can get some
him.
your own way.
Yeah,
So
I tell him to save all. I don't even ask. I tell him to save all his money as long as he's being smart with his money, and that's a good thing too. It teaches these players to be smart with their money at an earlier stage because your first time getting a lot of money, you tend to spend it, you tend to do some dumb things with it. Um, so it helps them learn at a young age that it might seem like a lot of money now, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not that much money.
yeah, and like you said, saving it and being smart about what you're
Yeah.
going to do with that money. So many places I can bring this. You've been so gracious with your time, and I appreciate it so much, Tyus. I do want to get into rapid fire. We've kind of opened a bunch of doors for future conversation, so love to have you back on the show and see
Yep.
whose dog makes us go outside first. So let's jump into rapid fire. We get 3 questions apiece. It could be about anything in the world. It is not pre-planned. It could be sports, music, movies, literally anything. You get to ask me the first question. What do you got?
Ah, I'm a big movie guy, so what's your favorite movie? Favorite movie?
Okay. Number one, I love that you said that because the generation that's in high school right now, so many of them are like, I don't watch movies, and I'm like, what? How is that even a thing? Like, I mean, it's
That
like
shouldn't be a thing.
what'd you say?
I said that shouldn't be a thing at all.
No, it's the easiest thing to just like, okay, you take a call. I've had people say I can't sit down for 2 hours, I can't do this. I will tell you this, in the dating world as a single man, if I'm talking to a girl, especially somebody who's like really close in age to me, where I mean, we watch movies all the time as a normal thing. If she tells me she doesn't watch movies, I'm like, it's not gonna work out.
Yeah, that's a red flag, man. That's a big red flag.
So I would say my favorite my favorite. Probably, I love that you said you're big on movies because, like I said, I haven't heard this in a minute and it makes me sad. So I would say Liar Liar is one of my favorites because I can recite the whole movie. Jim Carrey, I love comedy. Love Wedding Crashers. For some odd reason, we've had multiple moments with the same team at CBA for the football team where I could do Mom, Where's the Meatloaf? So I think that that's been great. But I think Wedding Crashers I can watch on repeat. I can watch Home Alone forever. I can watch Liar Liar. But being a Marvel guy, I would probably have to say Spider-Man 1 with Tobey Maguire,
Okay, that's a
Spider-Man
good
No
one.
Way Home, and the Spider you don't know this, I don't think, but I was in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 as an extra in the chase scene. So,
Oh, you were.
yeah. I actually
Oh,
made there was like 200 of us and I actually made screen time, which was awesome, but yeah, I was
that's great.
right in the chase scene in the first 15 minutes when Paul Giamatti's Rhino character crashes his 18-wheeler and there's like 40 NYPD cars. I come out of the alleyway in that.
Oh, that's awesome. Now I gotta check it out. I gotta watch it, rewatch it.
Yeah, you got to check it out. So you're a movie guy. Okay, so good. So now I could take a breath of fresh air. So
Yeah.
are you a Marvel, DC? Do you watch the comic book movies or no?
Yeah, I watch everything.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I'm a big movie guy. I watch everything.
Okay, so you watch everything. So this is going to be a two-part question. Favorite Marvel movie ever and why? And if you've watched a horror movie, what's the one that scared you the most?
Oof, those are two great questions. All right. Favorite Marvel movie? I would have to say, oof. I think action wise, if you're putting action into action alone, I would say Winter Soldier. I think that was a really good uh, uh, Avengers movie, Captain America movie. Um, Horror movie. There was one recent horror movie that I saw in theater. So I'm a huge horror movie guy. Like I'm the type of guy I'll go watch a horror movie by myself in the theater alone. I'm that type of guy. So
At night?
at night.
Oh
I
my God.
like I'll watch horror movies before I go to sleep at night, things like that. So they don't affect me at all.
Okay.
And I do love them a lot. So the recently I saw a movie called Hereditary, and it was in theaters. It's by A24, the studio, and they make some like pretty out there type of movies. But this horror movie, if people get a chance to watch it, they should really watch it. It's a really really good horror movie. Not a ton of jump scares, but it's more of a type of movie that you think about later on, and I think that's what the really good horror movies do.
Yeah, see, the horror movies that make me think about it later are the ones I don't want to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I will tell you quick off of that. I realized in like three ex-girlfriends over like a span of, whatever time, that three things that what they had in common is they all forced me to watch a scary movie.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and each of them picked like a horrific, like it stuck with me. So the one girl I was dating that was from Long Island, Puerto Rican, she brought me to, and that's why I asked you at night. She brought me to a movie theater, and if you know certain parts of Long Island, you park in the middle of the street. You
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
park on the edge, you park in the middle. So
Mm.
we went to we went to go see The Grudge.
Okay. Good
Okay.
movie.
That movie's disgusting. And it's like, and if there's 5 minutes of bliss, someone's dying horrifically. I still, whenever I think about The Grudge, I hear the bang, bang, bang. And then you go upstairs and it's the guy who hung himself in the bathtub and he's hitting the wall.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
I can't forget any of this movie. The sloshing of the girl who didn't have feet. Like, just, I mean, it stays with you forever. And so we watched this movie. There's a guy that's like fighting with another guy in the theater. Like the whole thing's uncomfortable. And so the
Yeah.
movie ends, and I kid you not, I'm walking toward the front door and I'm like, is there like some type of like poster on the door? Is there like did the doors were white. We go outside. It's not fog. It's white fog. It's walk in
That's
front of
crazy.
you 2 steps and you can't see that person fog.
That's crazy.
So I'm like, okay, because God knows when I watch scary movies, God gets some humor going.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so God was like, all right, cool. Now, so you like walk through the fog and a person will like walk in front of you, they disappear. I'm like, we're walking across the street. She's just walking across the street. I'm like, how do you know a car's not coming? We get to the car. I put her in the car. She had long dark hair.
Oh man.
So we get to the car. Now, Tyus, I want to tell you what I did here. I was a gentleman. Now because I want this to hit, but I want it to hit the way that it should. And I want to let people know. I was a gentleman. I walked her to the car. I opened her door. I let her
Yeah.
in. I said, all right, babe, you good? I shut the door. I go to the other side. I get in the car like this. I turn to the woman who I just was a gentleman to. She's got her hair over one side of her face. She looks at me and she goes,
Oh,
like,
that's hilarious.
and I will tell you, the whole way home, I was like, don't talk to me. Don't look at me. I told her, I said, if there was an eject button on the passenger side, I would have hit it. Like, I literally was pretending to hit it on the Honda. And I was like, she got so mad. She goes, I said, why are you so mad? I said, because you know. I said, don't speak to me. Don't look at me. And then she got really mad at me. And I was like, I should just pull over, leave you right here.
Oh man, that's hilarious, man.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So that happened. To all the girls out there that, want to do something to your boyfriend now I gave you an idea. But what's your second question for me?
Um, let me think. Let me think. Uh, Favorite artist, music wise.
Well, that's a good question. That's a really good question. There's a song that I can't get out of my head right now, and I've been playing it every day. It's one of the songs from the Across the Spider-Verse track, because the first one I have the record, and then the second one, there's one song, Am I Dreaming, that I just love. But I think it's like it's a collaborative thing. I do like Drake,
Yeah.
but I like certain things more than other things from Drake. I really like Kendrick Lamar. I mean, honestly, I don't know if I can pick an artist. It's more of, I think it's the records I go back to. So, like, if I'm playing a
Yeah.
record in my house, I'm playing Black Panther's first record, which when Chadwick Boseman died, it like went up 200%, and everybody
Yeah.
was on it. And I was like, dude, I've been on this entire album for years, but I would say, I mean, it introduced me to Run the Jewels. Kendrick Lamar, I have the utmost respect for lyrically just how insane he is. And I'm like, does this man does he even have to think, or does his brain just be like, go, I got it? So,
Yeah.
so I would say the Black Panther soundtrack, the first one, I would say Phil Collins record from 1985. And those are probably the two that I play the most. And Andrea Bocelli, the Italian singer who is blind, and he is, I mean, he can take you to a place with his music where you could play his music at a funeral, you could play his music at a wedding, you could play his music when you're cleaning dishes in the house. Like, he will grab emotion from you and kind of lift you right off the air. So, I mean, anybody that knows me knows that, like, if you look at my vinyl collection, it's all types of music. It's just spans. But I would say if I'm listening to somebody who's really going to like grab me, I would say Kendrick Lamar, Phil Collins, Andrea Bocelli as of right now.
Yeah. It's a good list. Good list.
All right, so I want to know with you. So we're going on tour. You and me are going on tour. We got invited on this tour, and we're on the bus, and there are 3 musical acts that are going to be on the bus. They could be individuals, they could be a group, but we get to choose the concert lineup that we're going to go on tour with. Who are we going with?
That's tough. This is people who are passed away too as well, or
Could be anybody, yeah.
anybody? I would definitely have to go with Drake. You know, definitely go with Drake. I'm a big Drake guy. Um, I would say Michael Jackson. Uh, People know my old teammates used to know that I used to lift when I used to be in the weight room. I used to lift to Michael Jackson, so I used to listen to a lot of Michael Jackson. Um, and man, I'm trying to think of the third. I would say Jay-Z. Jay-Z number 3. And
Okay.
that's
I like. I knew you were going to say Michael Jackson. I knew that was coming. Now, when you're lifting, are you lifting to like any Michael Jackson? Are you lifting to Beat It? Are you lifting it to, remember
well,
the time? What?
honestly, I have a whole old school playlist that I usually put on when I lift.
Yeah.
Um, Back in college, but most of those songs were a lot of Michael Jackson, so I listen to all types of Michael Jackson. You
I'm,
know,
I'm going to tell you the best Michael Jackson record because I know everybody talks about Thriller. That's like the easy one to say. The
yeah,
best Michael Jackson, and I had it on cassette as a kid, and now I have the vinyl too, is the Dangerous album. The one where
really,
it's his eyes and you see the circus.
yeah,
That to
yeah.
me has so many songs. Jam, I could listen to a million times. Dangerous. Like I literally would listen to that as a kid and watch him. And I tell people I credit my ability to dance to Michael Jackson. So the Dangerous album is, and I hope you know the Dangerous album, but it's so good.
Yeah,
All right, I like that. Used to lift to my. Now I'm just gonna picture that, just like them walking in the thing, and you just hear jam, and you're just doing your thing,
yeah.
and
They
you
they
just
used
hear
to
me.
hate when I used to take the aux cord when I'm lifting, man. They couldn't stand it.
I love that. What's your last question for me?
Ah, okay. Um, Man, growing up as a kid, what was your dream profession?
What I'm
If
doing?
it isn't what it is now.
Yeah, I mean it's what I'm doing. I mean, there's a lot of things, and there's things that I'm working on. So I mean, music,
Hmm.
sports. Really anything. My ring that I wear all the time. I don't know if people could see it here, but there's a feather pen that's on that ring, and it's a reminder to me that everything that I love is it starts with being a storyteller. So from writing music to singing to screenwriting to doing my show to stand up comedy stuff because I love making people laugh. All of that starts with being a really good storyteller.
Hmm.
And so, I love poetry, written over 40 songs in my life. So to me, it all starts with a pen and a piece of paper. That's why in the studio, always I have a pen and a piece of paper with me. And so I would say I'm doing a lot of things. I'm doing a lot of things that I didn't even know like God was going to bless me like he as great as he has. But there's a lot of things that I want to do and that I will do, and I look forward to having my own Spider-Man movie on screen someday where it's my script, my story, and Tyus Battle goes and sees it and then talks to me about it on my show. That's what I want to
That'd be
hear.
great. That'd be great.
All right. My last one for you, Tyus. You're going to jump into any world
Mm.
in the movie world. You can jump into any universe. What universe are you jumping into, and what character are you playing within that universe?
Oh man. Oh, no, that's a tough one. Any universe.
Yep.
Dang, that's tough, man. All right, for me, so I'm a big video game guy. I've always been a huge video game guy. Um, so I don't know if you know the movie Ready Player One.
Yeah.
And so they put on like they get into like the futuristic, they put on the goggles and everything else like that, and then they're in a video game world where they can be anything they want to be. So I think that would be the universe I would want to do, I think, just because I'm a big video game guy.
Okay.
Um, and I always thought that was amazing to see. I know I see, you have people trying to do it now, but the way that they showed it in that movie was amazing to me. And everyone I showed that movie to, they love the movie as well. So for the people out there, they have to watch that movie.
Okay. All right. Do you have like, would you be yourself or would you?
I mean, I'm cool with being myself,
Yeah.
but the point is like once you put on the goggles or you get into that video game world, you can be whoever you want. So I think that's pretty cool and just off that.
Yeah. Well, I definitely could say I know the movie. I have not seen it from start to finish. So now my job for myself this week is to watch Ready Player One and then tell you what I think about it.
Definitely do. Definitely do.
I'm going to do that. Well, with that being said, Tyus Battle, Syracuse Orange basketball history. We do things differently here on Wake Up Call. You saw that on display in our conversation. Tyus, I will say see you later. Hopefully see you soon because this conversation, just to tell you really quick, I started it off by saying, you're one of my favorites I've seen come through here, but I've been wanting to reconnect with you since you left for a very long time to have you on the show and to, just get to rep again, talk about a bunch of different things. This conversation has been one of my favorites. It's given me a lot of ideas. And I always say, I love what I do because I feel like living in a big kid world, but, still having that little kid spirit. And it's moments like this where I'm like, I got to talk to Tyus today. We had a ton of fun and we were talking about The Grudge and Ready Player
Yeah.
One and Michael Jackson. So I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And
I really did. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I look forward to having you back, man. But this was a long time coming, and I thank God that we got to bump into each other in the hallway. And I'm so thankful that you gave me some of your time today because I've been waiting a while to see what's up and see how you're doing and to let you know how much I appreciate everything you've done.
I really appreciate that. And thank you for having me. I had a great time.
Absolutely, man. So, just tell the ladies in your life, no grudge. Don't do none of that.
Make sure to let them know. I definitely let them know.
All right, man. Be good. Stay safe. Say hi to the family, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Sounds good.
Take care.
All right. Bye.
See you. Coming from Tyus Battle one more time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. I have waited years to have that conversation with Tyus, and that's one of my favorite conversations I've had in a really long time. So, not to take away from anybody else, I love the conversations we get to have here on the show. I'm very spoiled, and just God puts me around wonderful people. But it's things like that where these guys graduate, and and sometimes you lose touch or you don't have a way to connect with them, and so when they're done, you're trying to find an avenue to reach back out. And it's funny because Isaac Alford, my good buddy, and he's here on Tortora and Alford on Wake Up Call. And he had said to me, he was like, Tyus is in the building. And then Jerry said something about it when I was interviewing Jerry, but I didn't see him. And I texted Isaac, and I was like, man, I didn't see Tyus. But something inside me was like, yeah, but you're going to. It was just something about just knowing God, knowing my history, knowing how God always blesses my life and has something waiting around the corner. And sure enough, I did all my interviews. I was walking out of the tunnel, and who's the guy standing there right before I go outside? Tyus Battle. And I just kind of gotten to the point with God where I'm like, I know you got my back. And I know if things seem bleak or if I think I missed an opportunity, if I'm meant to have it, I know it'll be there. And God has always presented me with the opportunity and really honestly asked me, what are you going to do? It's not that I'm not going to give it to you. When I give it to you, what are you going to do with that opportunity? And seeing Tyus there, I just was so happy and thankful to be able to walk up to him and say, thank you. Thank you for the work you've done. Thank you for the player that you were here at Syracuse. Thank you for all the memories that you've given us and to tell him to his face, like, I really wanted to talk to you. And then to have him on the show a couple days after that, turn it right around the corner. I mean, God is great. The opportunity is wonderful. And this conversation is one that every time we talked about something, I was like, I want to go there for the next 20 minutes. And I tried to touch on a lot of different things, but, I just really, I love that. I love building relationships with people and waiting as long as I waited to have that opportunity with Tyus. I'm so honored to have this. And he literally just texted me, thanks for having me, Dan. Best interview I've had in a long time. It's always worth the wait. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be back after this. Y'all are trying to make me cry today. We'll take a step aside. We'll be back after this. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks, located for you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, is your sports card shop 7 days a week, open Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. right off of Teal Avenue. You will find people that truly care. You have that beautiful story that we got to tell about Jeff and Andy Cook and the connection that continues to live on and pay off dividends in such a special and unique way when it comes to sports cards. Well, GG Cards and Breaks creates these wonderful family memories. They are run by two incredible people in Josh and Anthony and a wonderful staff that cares so deeply and so much. It means the world to them when somebody comes into their store and gets their favorite player, has their favorite team, has something that they open in a pack that's truly meaningful to them. They like seeing other people win. They love to open up packs themselves. They've never forgotten what it's like to be a kid, and it's just a wonderful atmosphere of really kind people working very hard and very diligently in a hobby that they love so very much. It's not just a sports card shop. It's a place to make memories. It's a place to have a common thing that bonds us all and to connect in such a unique and wonderful way that spans all tests of time, all ages, all ethnicities, backgrounds, whoever you are, wherever you come from. In the sports card world, it's just a place where people can, like I said, you can kind of go to your imagination, be a big kid, get excited, and find those cards that mean the world to you. My entire life, and inside of my studio, there's cards everywhere, and I can tell you the story behind each of those cards. I might not be able to tell you what I had for lunch yesterday, but I can tell you why every single card is in my studio. GG Cards and Breaks, to me, makes those memories. They become those memories. Hey, when I went with my mom to GG Cards and Breaks, I got this card of my favorite play. I got my Pat Mahomes card, my first Pat Mahomes card, and that was with my mom when I was 7 years old, and it was on a snow day, and she brought me over there, and it was the afternoon, and it was right before they closed, and Josh was so nice, and Anthony said this, and they gave me this card, and I got to go home and put it in my room, and now, now you fast forward and say, now you're so many years old, and now it's in my room in college. Now I handed it to my son. These are the things. Sports cards, they connect generations. They span all tests of time. And when somebody hands you one, those memories last forever. When you open up that pack, those memories last forever. When somebody passes on, their story stays. And that sports card is that tangible connection to that person and that story. GG Cards and Breaks isn't a sports card shop. It's a sports card shop where you can make memories. It's a sports card shop where you can have moments that will send ripple effects through the rest of your life. Head there today, 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Open 7 days a week, right off of Teal Ave. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I want to thank you for being a part of today's show. I am honored and privileged to do a lot of things in my life. Waking up every day and living my dreams is a big part of my daily thanks to God. I'm grateful that God woke me up this morning. Please know that. God, above all. Because I should have said it sooner. Thank you for waking me up. Thank you for allowing me to live my dreams. Thank you for giving me so many wonderful people that I've gotten to meet in this world of living my dreams. Thank you for your graciousness, your goodness, your memories, your love. Thank you for surrounding me with so many blessings and reasons to wake up in the morning with a giant smile on my face. On my toughest days, God is great. And on my best days, God is great. And if I've learned anything at 38 years old, every day is great when you get to wake up and you know that you're doing what you love, you're surrounded by people that you love, the people up in heaven that you love dearly. You can feel them and you can sense them, and their memories live on with you. There's a reason why certain things stick, certain things stay. And doing this show, living my dreams, it's given me the opportunity to just meet so many of God's children, so many beautiful, wonderful souls. Chasing my dreams gave me my friends that have become family, my travel, moments with Tyus like that. On a daily basis, I have more blessings than I can count. And I don't say that in any way to gloat. I say that because I think that I always need to take a little bit deeper of a look into my life and into what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. You know, I get caught up in the go, and then you look at the thing you don't have. I got all these things, but I don't have this one thing. And what I realized on this commercial break, when I got that message from Tyus and I got down on my knees and I thank God, I don't need any of that other stuff. I never did. I honestly, I'm speechless that I have so many wonderful people that I get to talk to. I mean, Murph with me every week. And Tyus, I waited years for that. And then to get a message from him right when we got off the air, I was going to send him a message and thank him. And I got a message from him first. Thank you for having me, Dan. Best interview I've had in a long time. You know, I could tell you how much it means to me, but I don't even know if I could put it into words adequately. Sometimes some things you just, it's in a smile, it's in a look, it's in a feeling in your heart, it's in a chill that you get, it's in an appreciation. God is very much alive. And I know we think like, oh, the devil's taking over. Look at all the craziness going on in the world. There's been craziness in the world forever. There's been things that have happened throughout history where people thought this was the end. No, this is the end. No, that's the end. the reality of it all is we don't know when the end's going to come. We don't know when it's going to be our time. We don't know when this is all going to be done. So the only thing that I could tell all of us is we need to get busy living. Because if you're not getting busy living, you're getting busy dying. And I'm just grateful, man. I'm just grateful. I'm very grateful that I get to live this life. I'm going to sneeze. God bless me. I feel like God does that when he wants me to remind, when he wants me to say, yes, I have blessed you. Remember that. So God bless me. God bless you. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you for being with us all the time. Thank you for being with us last night. And every time we do an extra show, a special broadcast on site on location, I mean, for goodness sakes, we've been in Boca Raton recently. We've been in St. Augustine. We've been in Jacksonville. We've, been out in Arizona. God bless me again. We have been obviously here in central and upstate New York. And you've been able to watch us and listen to us worldwide, literally anywhere. You could be anywhere with the internet. YouTube.com/wakeupcalldt, Facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, wakeupcalldt.podbean.com, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Once the shows go live, you can get us in your pocket, in your car, wherever you are, whatever device you're on. If you have Amazon Music, if you have Audible, if you have iHeartRadio, if you have iTunes and Apple Podcasts, if you have Player FM, if you have Podbean, if you have Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, YouTube, any of that. There's also more. If you search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, if you search my name, Dan Tortora, you will find stuff on search engines that'll connect you to our website, wakeupcalldt.com, our YouTube channel, our social media, to these outlets. It's crazy. It's crazy that, and I don't pay Google or any of these places to do this. I just work really hard, and I pray to God that the things that are out of my control, he will help me with, and that the things in my control, he'll help me with. And, if you search it right now, I'm doing it right now. If you just look up Dan Tortora, Tortora, it brings you to our website. It brings you to our LinkedIn. It brings you to Facebook. It brings you to Instagram, to our Podbean channel, to X, to a bunch of stuff here. And it brings you to Apple, brings you to our YouTube channel, which actually shows me broadcasting from Mexico. Brings you to our Lemoyne content, Bryan and Stratton content. It's all through here. And it brings you to Two Mics, No Filter, and a bunch of other things too. So, it's a beautiful thing. You could find us anywhere. Search my name, Dan Tortora. Search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Search Wake Up Call DT as one word. You'll find us all over the place because God's awesome. It's as simple as that. You work hard, you believe in God, things are going to work out. Our incredible partners in central and upstate New York. I'm so blessed to have Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Mon Paz Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, GG Cards and Breaks, PB&J's Lunchbox, Avicoli's, Great Lakes Honda City, Pizza Man, Mother's Cupboard, Chick-fil-A Cicero, and Chick-fil-A Clay, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, and we are proud to be the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It's Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call. Check out AD and DT on the first and third Wednesday of each month at 9 a.m. Eastern Time with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. And you could also find us in the Dolphin Dive the second and fourth Wednesday of each month with student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. You can hang out with us in all of these wonderful pieces by simply going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and check out our Lemoyne playlist for another way to connect with Lemoyne. You can go to wakeupcalldt.com under exclusive partners and click right there on Lemoyne. And for more information on the Dolphins, go to LemoyneDolphins.com. We got content coming up today in my one-on-one conversation with men's basketball head coach Nate Champion following their victory in the NEC in their first D1 season and first season in the NEC, winning by 37 points at home yesterday against St. Francis of Pennsylvania. So that conversation will be up there, as well as my conversation with Luke Sutherland and Isaiah Salter, who have both joined the show. Tremendous people. Can't wait to share those with you today. So make sure you check those out on all of our channels, all of our outlets. As always, fins up. Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. The Bobcats coming to you every single month with the Bobcat Buzz, men's and women's basketball, men's and women's soccer, baseball, esports, all of these great things with the Bobcats. We get to share them with you, student athletes, coaches, and administration. I'm honored and privileged for the opportunity to have the Bobcat Buzz come to you. We've been able to tell the stories of almost 2 full years now. At the end of this month will be 2 full years with the Bryan and Stratton Bobcats of Syracuse. I've spoken with national champions, teams that have been in the national tournaments for an opportunity to win a national championship, and speaking with a program, and how many times do we get to say this, an inaugural sports program where I got to follow the baseball team all the way through. It has been a complete and wonderful road to be where the Bobcats are today. I'm so grateful that they have allowed me to be on the road with them, to be on the journey with them, and to share their stories. They have been incredible. They're from all over the world. Bryan and Stratton is in Syracuse on James Street, and there are people on campus at Bryan and Stratton that are from all over the globe. And I can sit at a table and talk to 4 different countries by just having 4 guests on the show. It is such an amazing, amazing gem in our community. I love being a part of it and connecting with them. We got big news coming up with the Bobcats. Can't wait to share that with you soon. And you can always check out the Bobcats by subscribing to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. And hit the notification bell, find our playlist, the BSC Syracuse playlist. You can also go to wakeupcalldt.com and find them under the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. And as always, go Bobcats. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I hope you have a fantastic day. I want to thank everybody for your support, your love, your kindness, your generosity, your time. I am so grateful that you've been here with me and navigated throughout the seconds and the minutes and the weeks and the months and the years to get to where we are today. My company, Dan Tortora Broadcast Media, is over 11 years old. I am so grateful for that, and I'm very proud of that. On top of, having this beautiful 11-year anniversary and then some, I've been a broadcaster for over 20 years now as of this past November, starting at Marywood University, thanks to my wonderful, beautiful brother and friend, Brandon Smith. I can't thank y'all enough for your love and for your support. And, I mean, if today's show was the only show I ever did, I would look up at God and say thank you. And, it is my absolute pleasure to be your broadcaster. It is my absolute pleasure to be a voice that is trying to bring good to this world. It is my absolute pleasure to have so many wonderful people grace the stage and for me to be able to spotlight them and have you get to know them. So thank you for giving me your time. Thank you for giving me your energy. Thank you for your love and your positivity and your support. Thank you to my day oneers. And thank you to everybody that's come along the way. Thank you to everybody that hates my guts and everyone that tried to stop me. To all the liars, cheaters, and stealers, thank you so much, because you made my skin so thick and thicker every day. So thank you for just in your own way being awesome and pushing me to be the best I can be and then going beyond those limits. And thank you to my mom and dad. Thank you to G-Mama and Gammy and Pop Miller and Pop Cavino. Thank you to my adopted Pop as well as Grandpa Bill. Thank you to all my friends that have become brothers, all my nieces and nephews, my godson Noah. Shout out to all my teachers and all my former bosses, thank you. And I just hope you all have a great day. I hope you chase your dreams. I hope you took something away today. Andy, in heaven, I never got to meet you, but I feel like I get to know you through Jeff, and I just love how much he loves you. It's a reminder of all the good things and all the things that matter in life. So I'm happy I got to tell your story a little bit today, and I look forward to telling more. And in August, they have a tournament honoring Andy Cook here in the community, and I would love for you guys to be a part of it. It's huge. Cookie sent me the info on that, and he said that it is August 17th at Foxfire. So you can definitely reach out to us for more information. Be happy to help you. Sorry I said one of my teachers, Jim Hart, would have been like, what are you doing? So I apologize for saying It's atypical of me. I heard it today in the show. I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't do that. So constantly learning. And thank you to, I almost did it again. Thank you to the first program director that ever allowed me to have a show after college on ESPN Radio. A big shout out on 630, 1240, and 96.1 FM. Thank you to all my angels. Thank you to everybody that's looking out. Shout out to Griffin. And I hope you all have a beautiful, wonderful day. Hug your loved ones. Make some memories. Chase your dreams. Cry because you care about something. Laugh because it's funny and it's exciting and you're supposed to laugh and smile. You know, just be happy, right? Challenge yourself every single day to just say thank you. To take a split second when you wake up before you do anything else and say, hey, God, thanks for waking me up today. I love you. Now let's go get this day. Let's go have fun. So have a beautiful day. Have a wonderful time. Find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT, wakeupcalldt.com, youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. And as I always leave you with, God bless, which is self-explanatory there. God bless you all. No stress. Minimize the stress in your life. It doesn't do anything to help you. It only hurts you. Do your best. Because if you do that, you'll always succeed. I hope you have a great day. Talk to you soon. Thanks, Brendan. Thanks, Tyus. Thanks, Cookie. Thanks to the whole Cook family. Thanks to Andy in heaven. Thanks to GG Cards and Breaks for making awesome memories. God bless you.